last night we went to a magic castle.
Let's talk about that.
Hey, Wyro1999 here, from Scotland. Good mythical morning.
Good mythical morning.
Welcome to the show. And by show, I don't mean magic show. I mean Good Mythical Morning, but we're going to talk about a magic show or a series of magic shows that we attended
last night.
together.
Okay. It's hot off the presses, people. Fresh experience, straight from us beaming through your internet into your soul.
So ever since we moved to Los Angeles, we've had people, there's a lot of stuff to do here in this town. And you ask people, what should I do? I'm new here. Well, what do we do for fun here? What should we do? Where do we go? Who do we hang out with? What is my purpose? It usually doesn't get that far, but it's like...
You do use that voice?
What should I do with my life?
Where can I see famous people? Is
Yes.
really what you're asking.
But really, it's about my parents being in town. Really, it's what it really boils down to, is that my parents are
They came into town and they were like, what should we do? Who should we see?
What is my purpose? And I said, typically our lives are pretty boring. We don't do a lot to entertain ourselves. We spend all our time entertaining you. And
That's not boring.
But no, it's great. I love it. But when my parents come into town, it's like, we got to show them a good time. We got to show them a good time.
And so one of the first things that came up was, hey, you remember that magic castle?
I've heard about it.
Lots of people over time have told us, oh, you should go to the magic castle. The magic castle. I'm, okay, what? Magic castle?
Is it not really there? Does it disappear when you walk up to it?
Are we talking Disneyland here?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that there is this old hotel, like basically in the heart of Hollywood, that you can go to this thing. It is members only, or you got to know someone who can get you in.
Very exclusive.
And you have to be dressed up, like you have to
a magician.
You have to wear a tie, or they say on the website that you could wear a bolo tie.
Yep. I saw a couple of those.
Which I'm always looking for an opportunity to wear my bolo tie.
Or a turtleneck, which is what my dad wore. My dad did the old turtleneck and blazer because, he didn't know that he was going to be wined and dined like this when he came to visit us. He didn't know he was going to go to the magic castle, so he didn't have a tie. He's like, but I do have a turtleneck.
So
I don't know why you brought a turtleneck, Dad, but I'm glad you did because it made it easier.
Southern California, you need to bring that turtleneck. It might get cold. On the beach this time of year, it could get cold.
Right.
You need a turtleneck if you're going on the beach.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we go to the Magic Castle last night, and let me tell you, we had a memorable experience. Now, I didn't know what to expect because in talking to people, I knew that it cost $20. You have to know somebody. And then it still costs $20 to get in.
Just for access.
Plus like $4 or $8 valet. Then you still got to buy dinner.
It's not that bad. There's a lot of entertainment.
I'm not used to paying $20 to get in anywhere just to turn around and spend more money on dining.
I've been charging you $20 every morning. There's a door charge here.
You're drafting my account or something?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
I have direct access.
And then people would say, oh, but you need to go. It's totally worth it. Everybody should do it once. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to take that. Does that mean everybody should do it? Or once you do it once, you'll never want to do it again?
Well, I think we have the answer now.
We do, but they don't.
So we walked in looking very good. I thought I looked great.
I looked like I was going to a funeral.
I had my dress pants on. I have one pair of dress pants, and I wore it. They're actually corduroys, if you consider that dress pants.
Let's not dwell on what we were wearing. Can we get to the magic?
Yeah, and I walk in, and I see that it's like a meandering layout, like you're walking through the Biltmore house or something. But there's
like
all
the Haunted Mansion.
There's all kinds of pictures of magicians, and then they're like, well, okay, your dinner reservation is 8 o'clock, but there's a show starting now, and then there's a show there, and you can do some close-up magic in the close-up gallery. There's magic everywhere. You basically walk in a direction, and you'll walk into a magic show.
Well, you'll walk into a room with a magic show.
Right.
You don't actually hit a magic show. So the first place we go before we eat dinner is the close-up room. The close-up room. Open sesame. So we go in there, and there is, I would say the guy was probably 67.
That's pretty
years old.
Accurate.
Yeah. He had like gray hair on the sides, kind of baldy, and he was just hunched over this green-topped card table type thing. And there was not like this card table, it was fancy.
3 rows of people, 3 rows of 6, that's 18 people.
And we sit down in the front row.
Boom.
And I am
all
right
6 of us.
I am right in front of this guy. Like I could have reached out and like caressed his nose.
I'm glad you didn't.
I really wanted to. Whenever I see a magician that close, I'm like, dang, I want to caress your nose.
Magicians don't let you do that, though.
They get away, or their nose disappears. I hate it when that happens.
But he started this thing, and of course he brings out the cards, and he starts asking people who they are. And of course Link's right in front of him. He talks to Christy first.
My wife.
She's better looking than you are.
Yep.
And he's like, what's your name? Christy. He's like, what's your name? Link. And then my dad makes the missing link joke. And then he says, you guys are related. He says, no, we've just known him forever. And then he begins to incorporate you into some of his tricks.
Yep, I disappeared at one point. I was sawed in half at another point. No, he pulled out the nuts and the pea thing. Where it's like, they do this on the street, to kind of rip you off with the walnuts and the pea. Yeah. You were there, right? Don't you remember?
The old cup trick.
Now, this is basically his first trick, and I found out something interesting was going on psychologically in my mind.
Really?
I was faced with a decision because I knew what was happening. I was like, I actually used my finger and I was pointing where I knew that pea was going to go. And I was convinced.
He said, oh, you're a pointer when you held out your hand.
I was convinced.
Apparently that's a condition.
I was convinced I knew where the pea was. After he moves it around, he's all right, where's it? I knew where that pea was.
Of course you did.
And I also knew that he was a good magician, but I didn't want to get, I thought I knew where it was, and I decided, should I say where I think it is, or should I guess somewhere else and potentially expose him as an amateur magician right off the bat? And I found out I was more concerned about not exposing him than actually legitimately guessing.
But the thing you didn't understand.
So what I was like, this one. And then, of course, I was wrong, but that made him right. So I felt good.
But he's always going to be right, though. That's the thing. It doesn't matter what one you point at. He has the P. And so he's going to be like, nope. And then he has it. It's not actually under one of those. He's putting it under and revealing it at the same time. He's a magician, man.
But then
he's in control.
But I don't know that that's true because I just found it interesting that I cared more about.
I bought a magic kit one time.
Him saving face than in me actually getting it right.
But then it all changed because then he did this really elaborate trick.
Well, by the end, the end of his show.
End of his show, he takes out these, he's basically got a bunch of cards that he has ripped up. Jumbo cards that he has ripped up, right? He has jumbo cards that he's ripped up.
Yep.
And then he gives us all 4 cards.
That were in sealed packets.
Sealed bags. He's like, take the... Just ignore her.
Fine.
It's
you
fine.
Need some bacon?
I need a knife.
That's fine. Do what you need to do.
She's going to kill us with a knife.
No problem. As long as you don't throw the knife.
This is like one of those news shows where things just happen.
Things are going on here. People are busy.
It's just symbolic of the fact that things are happening.
So it's not symbolic. It's actually something happening.
Something is happening. So
a woman looking for a knife.
So then he's like, okay, I want you to take those cards. I want you to rip them in half. Then I want you to take them again and rip them in half again. Now you got 4 halves. Now I want you to take those and mix them up. Now I want you to take one out of the middle and set it on the seat over to the next to you. Now I want you to take one and put it in the middle. Now I want you to take one and throw it on the floor. All this totally random stuff. And that went on for like 2 or 3 minutes. And I was like, I thought in the middle of this, what we are doing right now is all a diversion and doesn't matter at all. And I know you thought the same thing. And so this is when you decided that you were what?
I'm not going to say what I decided. Let's just say what happened. So
okay.
And it's amazing. He's like, throw this one on the ground, put this one underneath. And then he was like, now take the 2 cards that are left in your hand that you ripped apart before, and everyone turns them over and is like, and it was the same 2 pieces of the 1 card that had been ripped up like years ago.
Yeah, they matched, which was phenomenal. And I was like, how did he do it? And of course, he says, now raise your hand if your cards don't match. And out of all these 18 people, 2 people raised their hand, my mom and Link.
And your mom was upset. And I was like, got him. Here's what at one point in all of this, the things he said, do this, throw it over, do this. At one point, I just skipped a step.
Of course.
I was like, because I had your theory. No matter what I do, the P is going to be in his hand and he's going to make it work. There's no way he could do it for this, so to speak. But then it didn't work.
Makes it, in my mind, makes it that much more amazing. The fact that you violated the rule and it didn't work makes it that much more amazing that all these ridiculous rules that seem so random actually led to the right outcome.
But talk about even more amazing is the final show.
Rick Thomas. We got a picture of this guy where he has a white tiger on him, like Michael Jackson did on an album cover.
He had no white tiger at last night's show, though. But
This
he did
guy-
have a pretty woman with him.
Tara. Won't soon forget Tara, but also won't soon forget Rick Thomas, because Rick Thomas is the quintessential old school magician. The dude comes out in this like magician's thing, like a ruffly thing, and then bam, bam, he's pulling birds out.
Real birds.
I was laughing with exhilaration because of every time the bird would come out. And one time he took a bird, real birds, and pulled it in half, and it was 2 birds.
Yeah, he ripped the bird in half.
When he does it, he has this
And
magician's look.
Sometimes he'll do this. He would stick his tongue between his teeth.
Yeah, I would go to school. In fact, I haven't told you this. I am so impressed with the birds and the look that I'm thinking about going to like a magic school.
And then at the end of
they got classes there.
No, at the end when he wanted you to applaud, he would do this. He would open it. He would put his hands out and he'd open his mouth like this. And that was like
Rick Thomas,
applause.
the best ever.
He gave a speech about his mom.
He said, "Follow your dreams, Link."
His whole thing was about following your dreams. And
he was like themed. His show was.
He brought a
themed.
woman on stage and like did a trick with her, and then at the end he like brought her close and said, "Follow your dreams."
And he was
like
serious.
He was totally serious.
I loved it so much.
Follow your dreams.
I
don't care what you do in life as long as you follow your
He wasn't
dreams.
that sinister. He was pretty nice. He looked like Wayne Newton.
Yeah.
No, he very much seemed like Wayne Newton.
It was awesome.
Anyway, go to the Magic Castle once. I'll go back if Rick Thomas is going to be there.
I will go anywhere for Rick Thomas. Rick Thomas, if you're watching, thank you for following your dreams. Wow. I'm gonna get Lockjaw or something. I'm gonna get TMJ from. I couldn't be a magician.
Rhett is
'cause
a
of
werewolf. Rhett is a werewolf.
This is quite a magic trick.
We're going to need some After Effects to make this really believable.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the werewolf.